Okay, so now that we have these, this is just Strathmore mixed media paper, so it's a little thicker than normal paper, not quite as thick as watercolor paper. So you saw I used a limited color palette with these. I just did some yellows, some oranges, some reds, a touch of dark purple, and then went in at the very end with turquoise, and then grunched it up a little with some black. So very simple. It didn't take long. I have 20 pages. Do I have 20? I shouldn't have 20. Hang on. I have 12 pages. So these are measured out to 11 by 7. So I'm going to fold them all in half, which will make my journal be, the pages will be 5.5 by 7. So I am going to score them just because I find that easier personally to score them first. So I'm just going to score them all at 5.5. I think that's my, yeah. So what really spawned this whole project was that I had an album cover for the wall, and I didn't want to get rid of it. I wanted to use it for something, so this is going to be my cover. So I cut it down. I just cut it right along the edge of the fold so that I could get this whole chunk, and then so it's a little over 12 inches wide. And then 7.5 inches, so that these bits will fit right in there. But I need to make a spine for it, so what I'm going to do is this is like just about 5 3/4 inches wide. Those pages will suck down a little bit as we sew it in. So I'm going to come over from this side to 5 3/4 and score it. There's a little chunk of cardboard that I'm just going to leave, and then I'm going to flip it and do the same thing, which will give me a pretty decent sized binding, or not binding, but backing. I can't remember what that's called. This piece, it's going to give me a decent width. So these two signatures won't fill that up, but it'll give it a little bit of room to grow. So then I'm just going to fold along those, and hopefully, if I got my measurements right, hopefully that's not going to rip. Yeah, it should be right. These will just slide right in here, and it will be a perfect little book. Pretty cool, pretty cool. All right, so we're just going to use a super easy stitch here called a pamphlet stitch. So we're going to use, as I was saying, a pamphlet stitch, and we're going to do the super exacting method of making holes, we are going to guesstimate. Normally I would make a template and, you know, so that they're all the same size, but since these are just pamphlet stitches, I'm just going to estimate that it'll be about right there. Then I'm going to poke, I'm just going to do 3 holes, so I'm going to poke a hole in the middle, all the way through all of my layers. That got a little squirrely. This would be a great time for a clip. Right about here, all the way through, and then right about here. So I'm just going through all of my layers. So then that one I'm going to set aside, and then this one is going to get the same super exacting method. Just want to make sure that I don't have my holes on top of each other, but I just want them kind of centered. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm going to poke one there, and then maybe I will do one right about there. And then I'm going to do one right about there. Yeah, that's alright. There, and they almost sort of match up, kind of. Not really. I don't really care. Obviously, I don't care. Alright, so this is just bookbinding thread. You could use embroidery floss, you could use dental floss as long as it's actual string and not plastic. I'm just gonna measure about 2 lengths of my book. Get my needle. I really love these curved needles for bookbinding. They work real good. So we're gonna go from the outside. Which one are we on? This one, right? No, I have no idea. This one. All right, we're gonna go from the outside to the inside. Leave a little tail. Go out one of the end holes, doesn't matter which one. Come all the way over to the other end hole. Onto that little string so that I can pull this as tight as humanly possible. Then go back out through the middle. Now when you go out through the middle, you just want to make sure that you have a string on each side of this long one. So I have this one's on this outside. Now I'm going to bring my needle up so that it's on the opposite side. And you can always just slide it under if you need to. So then I'm going to pull these babies real tight, and I'm going to knot it. I'm just going to go 3. And then you could hang stuff from here if you want. I'm not much of a hangy-doodly person, so. And then just make sure that everything is copacetic. Attached and all that. Alright, so then we'll do the other one. So I'll measure about 2 times. You can see I had a lot of string left over. Get your little, oh, see, look at how badly I did that. So I'm going to I did that real bad. Oh well, it's just gonna have to be that way. All right, so I want to make sure, I know that, was it this one? It was probably the other one. It's this one. All right, it has some yoga pose pages, which I didn't take into consideration, so they're just going to be upside down. So I'm going to come in from the outside. Just went through my cover, now I'm coming through my pages. I'm going to leave a little string that I'm going to hang on to. Alright, just making sure I had my stuff lined up good. Alright, from the inside to the outside, pull tight, go all the way down to the end, go through. Sometimes you gotta convince it that you have its best interests in mind. No, really, I'm trying to make you into something beautiful. Cooperate with me. Okay. Alright, so I have my little tail hanging out here. I cut this one so much shorter. So, and then go from the inside to the outside. Now you can see here I have both, hopefully, maybe you can see, I have both of my strings on the same side of that. So I'm just going to slide my tail under. Drag that through, and then I'm going to pull this really tight and then just tie it off. Trim it. Since this is wax thread, I can press it down and it'll sort of stick to itself here. There, now you can just kind of wiggle, straighten everything out. It's being weird. Oh, it's probably because of, that's fine, it can be weird, whatever. And then you can sort of soften, I'm going to soften the spine just a little here. Spine! That was the word I was looking for earlier. Because I want it to be able to lay sort of flat, but it's not going to cooperate. So that's fine. So there you have a little 2 signature, tiny little journal to do whatever you want to do. Oh, that's my problem. It's because when I poked my hole, it came way through the front of the page and not just at the edge, so that makes it a little wacky. But that's alright. It's handmade. What do you want? And also, I probably pulled too tight. But that, you just grab your signature and sort of stretch it out a little, but be careful so you don't rip it through. So then from here you could cover your binding if you want with washi tape or any other tape you like. Not your binding, your spine. Or don't. Or and paint the cover if you want, or if you have a cool Pink Floyd album cover, then don't do that either. So there you go. So now this is going to go off into the world to members of my design team, and then I'm gonna do a page in it that'll be in another video, and then it's gonna go off into the world for them to work on it. So stay tuned for that. And thanks for watching, and I will see you soon, okay? So go make something or something. Bye, 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 bye.